Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the KotLC Fanbase channel. My name is Joey and today we have some more KotLC news. You might be wondering what I even have to talk about since Stellalune was just released, but in this video I'm going to be talking about the KotLC Movie, a short story collection after the series has ended, as well as book 11. Before we get on to this official KotLC news, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and comment down below, and please keep spoilers out of the comment section. We're going to be going spoiler free until it's been a month after the book. And let's jump straight into the news. So first of all, you may be wondering where I'm getting all this information from. Shannon Messenger actually had a virtual event a couple Fridays ago or something, and I attended. It was ticketed, it was for Stellalune, and they had an author interview her, ask her a bunch of questions, and this guy was great. He asked a bunch of questions that I personally would have asked her if I were to interview her, and she did give us a lot of new information as her answers. So let's start with a thing that I think most people want an update on is the movie. It is absolutely crazy to think that it's almost been 2 years since we got an update on the movie, because it was announced on January 2021 and we pretty much haven't heard anything since then. And I can't show you guys the full entire interview because I wasn't really technically allowed to record it, but I will show you guys some clips to explain what I'm saying. So let's hear what Shannon Messenger has to say about the movie.
So what's the latest on movie, not movie, gonna happen? What's the deal?
I mean, as you know, Hollywood is one of those industries that is both very, very slow and also very much like you're not allowed to talk about anything that we're doing without getting into all kinds of trouble. So it's one of those things where there is stuff going on behind the scenes, but I would get in big trouble if I were to say too much more beyond that. But I will say, obviously, patience is key here because movies are a long game, or a TV series, whatever we end up landing on. You know, Keeper is not a cheap, low budget, quick kind of thing. You know, we're looking at a movie.
Producer brain is finally coming back to get you.
Yeah, we're looking at a movie that would be hundreds of millions of dollars, and that is not something that happens super quick. You know, it's something. But the good side of that coin is, everyone who's on the team is really committed to trying to make sure that when we get there, that we end up with something that will make readers be like, yes, totally worth the wait, and not, oh. So
If you can't say anything, can you do charades? So it's most picture, 5 words. Like, I mean, can we is that allowed?
I don't want to face the wrath of Hollywood, you know.
Okay,
I don't want
that's
to get in trouble. But I promise, as soon as I actually have something concrete that I'm allowed to share, I will be the most obnoxious person on social media, sharing it over and over and over again.
So basically she just confirmed that it's still going on, it is being worked on, and it has not been canceled. I was a little bit worried that, you know, it's been canceled or something because we haven't heard anything. So I'm just glad that it is still being worked on. And she did imply that she knows stuff about the movie because she said, I can't tell you guys anything, which means that something has been going on. She is involved somehow. She knows some stuff that we don't, and she's just not allowed to say it because of probably just some contract. And she did also say at the end to be patient because this is a book to movie adaptation. It's going to take a long time. They have to screenwrite it, they have to adapt it. And keep in mind that they have to create all these locations and sets and get all these actors to play all these roles. In the first book alone, they go to Mysterium, they go to Atlantis, they go to Havenfield, they go to Everglen, they go to Foxfire. There were so many different places, so many different actors and characters that they have to fill in. So it's going to take a long, long time, so we just got to be patient. And I think later on in the interview, she talked about how different it is to write a movie versus writing a book, because she did actually used to be a screenwriter that used to write movies. And she said that when you're writing a movie, you have a lot of limitations, but when you're writing a book, you have 0. Because if you're writing a movie, you have to think about all the money that goes into one scene if you're in a different location. So I would not be surprised if in the movie they cut out a whole bunch of scenes where they randomly go to one place just for like a chapter, because that is a lot of money just for one chapter. So you're gonna have to think about that. So next up is book 11? You heard me right, there is a possibility of a book 11. So we all know that Shannon Messenger announced like a whole big public announcement where there was a news article and everything that book 10 in 2023 is going to be the last Keeper of the Lost Cities book. We all remember that, right? Well, in this virtual event, he asked her, is book 10 the last book? So let's take a look and see what she said.
Is book 10 going to be the end? Is the next one after Stellalune going to be the end? Or do you know? Or are you
so
taking bribes?
So the funny thing is, like, we actually announced that book 10 was going to be the end. Like, I believe that was the title of the article that went out to the Associated Press, was like, one final
Yeah.
for the Lost Cities book 10, you know, when we did the contract. And we did that because we had created these kind of two outlines of like, okay, so this is what's going to happen in book 9, and then this is what's going to happen in book 10, and we're good. But as I've been writing, as I wrote book 9, there were a few things that it just, like, as much as we thought they were going to fit in the story, as soon as we started really trying to actually execute that and have it go, it just felt weird. It felt like Sophie and her friends would be focusing on something else right now because of all the big stakes that are happening and all of that. Like, they're not going to focus on this. So I'm not going to say 100% yet. It's still a little bit tentative on things. What I'm doing right now is I'm looking at the outline that we have of book 10 and trying to figure out, is there a way to just fit it all into book 10, or will that just leave us with a headache? Because the one thing I don't want to do is leave unanswered questions by the time we're at the end. And so
If after 8,000 pages, you haven't answered all the questions.
I owe them answers, and I owe them good answers, not just, well, here, let me just dump some information into a chapter because I need to get it out there. So I have a feeling that I will probably be having to eat some crow and be like, just kidding. Remember when I said book 10 was the end? Well, maybe book 11. But again, it's all about making sure that the last book we end on a high, and that everyone's like, best book ever. And if splitting book 10 into a book 10 and a book 11 is the best way to do that and make sure that we get all those answers in, then that's what we'll do. So I promise I will have like official news on that once I make my decision, whether it's, no, we got this, book 10 just needs to be book 10, or whether it's just kidding, there's going to be a book 11. So
This is so crazy. She just flat out said that there is a possibility, I'm not saying a good or a bad one, but there is a chance that she's going to end up writing a book 11. And I do think this makes a lot of sense. I don't know if I'm for it or against it, but I think that how Saloon ended, and I'm not going to spoil anything, I feel like it would be really, really hard to end the series in one last book. And if Shannon Messenger does decide to do that, it's either going to be extremely rushed and it's not going to feel good at all, or the book is just going to be very, very long, and I don't want any of those. Because on one hand, I feel like the series has been dragging on for far too long. And again, I'm not going to say anything about Saloon that will spoil it, but I will say that it was a little bit slower paced. And I know that there are like two types of fans, like one that wants the series to continue forever, and one that really just wants it to be wrapped up. And I don't really know where I sit. I'm just kind of a little bit conflicted over this. So as of now, this does not mean anything. Book 10 is still officially the last book, but we now know that there's a chance that she's just going to say, whoops, there's going to be another one. So how do you guys feel about this? Tell me in the comments down below if you want a book 11. Do you feel like this would be good for the series, or do you want it or do you not want it? And the last piece of news to come from this event is that Shannon did confirm 100% that after the series is over, there will be a short story collection that will feature the Great Gulan Incident. So there is going to be more Keeper after the book is done, whether that be book 10 or book 11. And in the short story collection, I'm assuming there's going to be different point of views of different characters, which is always really fun to see. And one of those will include the Great Gulan Incident that we have been waiting for the entire series. So it's coming. It's coming. So let's roll the clip and see what Shannon has to say about that.
Can you tell us more about the Great Gulan Incident? Did I say that right? Did I say that right?
Yeah, the Great Gulan Incident. Yeah, that's for those who somehow don't know, that's this thing that like keeps getting mentioned throughout the course of the series, like that there was this Great Gulan Incident at Foxfire before Sophie got there, and Keith of course says he had nothing to do with it, and I keep not actually mentioning what it is. And the answer is that yes, I am someday going to tell you the story of this. The only thing is, it's probably not ever going to be in the actual books.
We can't do a flashback and just live through it, or
well, so see, that's the thing. So what I have done is I've actually sold a short story collection of the world of the Lost Cities, and the big short story that we know for a fact that's going to be in there is the Great Gulan Incident. We're still figuring out what else will be in there, but yeah. So someday you're going to get that. It's just that's going to come after the rest of the series is done. So someday you will get to know, but just patience.
But you haven't just been fooling us around with this, right? Okay.
Oh, I do know for sure.
So basically, just do not fret. There will be more Keeper content after the main series is over. So we'll just have to see what happens, whether it be book 10 or book 11. There will be a short story collection to look forward to. And she said that it's sold to her publisher, meaning that she has a contract to write it. So it is 100% going to happen. So that is going to wrap up this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed all of the KotLC movie news, the book 11 news, and then this new short story news. We really did learn a lot from this interview, and I'm so glad. It was really fun. As I said before, I can't post the full interview even though I did record all of it, but it was really cool to see that she did reveal a lot of new information in this interview. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe and comment down below how you feel about all this news. And that's going to be it for me. I'll see you guys next week.